Chapter 31 Fiancé Han Ruoyun's Request. You are listening at novelfull.audio. The next day, early in the morning, after Ye Tiance woke up, he found that there were more than 10 missed calls on his mobile phone, all from Han Ruoyun. Why is this woman calling me so many times? Ye Tiance called Han Ruoyun back with doubts. Soon, the call was connected. Han Ruoyun's dissatisfied voice came from the other side. I have called you so many times, why don't you answer the phone? That Ye Tiance answered truthfully, my phone is on silent, what do you want from me? Han Ruoyun said coldly and arrogantly as always, can't I come to you if nothing happens? Ye Tiance said seriously, if nothing happens, just die. Han Ruoyun hurriedly said, don't. Why don't you do something wrong? I just want to ask, what was the reason why Master Hu let you go last night? He is not someone who gives in easily. That you must know that the news that Mr. Hu spared Ye Tiance last night was rumored throughout the Jiangnan city business circle. Everyone thought it was a miracle that Ye Tiance survived, although there are rumors that Mr. Hu surrendered because the Ji family carried the Rong family out of the provincial capital. Han Ruoyun suspected that there might be something hidden, so she called specifically to ask the reason. In response, Ye Tiance replied calmly. Because Zhang Xiaohu is afraid of me, is it that simple? Master Tiger is afraid of you. Han Ruoyun said in an unhappy tone, Ye Tiance, I'm asking you seriously, I'm not joking with you, that what kind of existence is Lord Tiger? The top boss who unified the underground forces in Jiangnan city. How can the 3,000 brothers under your command be afraid of you, a son-in-law who was expelled from the Xiao family? Even if you can work hard, what will happen in the face of absolute power? Ye Tiance said impatiently, if you don't believe it, forget it. It's fine. Hey! Why are you always in such a hurry to hang up the phone? They have other things to ask you for, come out and meet. Why do we have to talk about it in person? Han Ruoyun's voice suddenly became weak and said, I suddenly felt dizzy when I woke up this morning, and there were signs of bleeding on my skin. I guess it must be the medicine you prescribed for me last time. It failed to cure my disease. Are you responsible? Ye Tiance wondered, how could it be possible? It shouldn't be. Han Ruoyun continued, anyway, I'll send you the meeting address. It's up to you to choose whether to come or not. At worst, I'll relapse and die. It has nothing to do with you. Beep. After saying that, she hung up the phone directly, and then sent an address message. Ye Tiance couldn't help but muttered, Master has taught me all his unparalleled medical skills. Although Miss Han's disease is troublesome, it is not difficult. In theory, it can be cured by taking medicine once. Why did it relapse? Or is it in the Xiao family? After 3 years of silence, my medical skills have deteriorated. That he hesitated, Ye Tiance finally decided to get up and go over to take a look. On the one hand, Han Ruoyun was one of the master's fiancés after all. Although the engagement was broken off and the relationship between the two was no longer related, they could not ignore death. On the other hand, at the tenderers' meeting last night, she was the only one who stood up and spoke for herself. Just for this reason, it was necessary for him to go there. An hour later, Ye Tiance arrived at the door of Yulong Manor according to the address. I saw Han Ruoyun waiting there early. Today Han Ruoyun was wearing casual clothes, with a white t-shirt on his upper body. Without any additional decoration, he still couldn't hide the majestic silhouette underneath. The lower body is in simple dark skinny jeans, which perfectly accentuates the straight long legs. The whole person stood there, with a cold and arrogant look in his eyes that did not allow strangers to enter, full of aura. See Ye Tiance? Han Ruoyun's eyes flashed with pride, and he smiled and said, are you really here? Ye Tiance walked up to her, he looked up and down, frowned and asked, didn't you say that the old disease has relapsed? How come I don't see anything wrong? Han Ruoyun raised her chin slightly and said matter-of-factly, if I don't say that, can you come out to meet me? Ye Tiance had a dark look on his face. He said helplessly, Miss Han, if you have nothing to do, you can play around, please don't entertain me. Okay. Han Ruoyun pouted and said, who amused you? Isn't it true that they have something to ask you? Let me ask you, are you really good at medicine? Ye Tiance replied, you understand a little bit. Han Ruoyun said, what does it mean to know a little bit? Did you write the prescription that saved me? Or did you pick it up, Or was it given by someone else? Ye Tiance nodded. I wrote it. What's wrong? Han Ruoyun's face lit up. Great. I happen to know an elder who has a very strange disease. I've searched for famous doctors but can't find a solution. I want you to take a look at him. Come in with me. With that said, he was about to pull Ye Tiance into Yulong Manor. Ye Tiance didn't move. Instead, he said, after a long time of quarrel, you just want me to treat others. It's fine if I show it to you. After all, this is the compensation I gave you for terminating the engagement, but why should I agree to you to treat others? That I remember that when my master taught Ye Tiance his medical skills, although he said that as a doctor he must be benevolent and not ignore death, he also warned him of 3 rules. Point 1. Those who are extremely evil do not receive medical treatment. 2. People who are ruthless and unjust will not be treated. 3. Those who worship foreign things and favor foreign countries do not treat them. These 3 rules, also known as the 3 no medicines, have always been kept in mind by Ye Tiance. He would never easily treat a disease or save a person before he knew who the other person was. Han Ruoyun said seriously, I am actually doing this to help you. Help me? Ye Tiance looked puzzled. Han Ruoyun explained, I know this elder has a special status and plays an important role in the entire Jiangnan city. If you can save him, it will be equivalent to earning a big favor. When the time comes, neither the Ji family nor master who will cause trouble to you again. Do you understand? Ye Tiance said with a normal expression, they can come any time they want to cause trouble, and I have nothing to fear. Han Ruoyun was immediately furious. Why don't you know what is good and what is evil? Although she didn't like Ye Tiance, he cured her illness after all, and the kindness should be repaid, but this guy doesn't want money. She could only come up with this idea, but she didn't expect it to be rejected outright. Han Ruoyun sighed and said, Grandpa Lin fought for the country in his early years and killed countless enemies on bloody battlefields. He is an out-and-out hero. Now he is suffering from a strange disease. The doctor said that the end is approaching. People can't just watch and think. Do something. Ye Tiance's eyes flickered, and after thinking for a few seconds, he said, Since the Grandpa Lin you mentioned is such a person, I am interested in meeting him. Please lead the way. Han Ruoyun said excitedly, That's great. I'll take you in right now. The two entered the manor, with Han Ruoyun leading the way. Everything went smoothly. Ye Tiance learned from her that Grandpa Lin's name was Lin Yuanshuan, and he was her late grandfather's best friend. Lin Yuanshuan also treated Han Ruoyun as half a granddaughter. That's why she was so concerned about Lin Yuanshuan's condition. The two of them walked all the way to the Lin family living room. A woman of about 26 or 7 years old walked towards me. She is dressed more luxuriously, and although her appearance is outstanding, she feels difficult to get along with. Seeing Ye Tiance, the woman asked cautiously, Yun, who is he? Han Ruoyun introduced with a smile, Sister Yang, he is the fiancé who cured my illness as I told you. Well, he is my friend Ye Tiance, who came here specially to see Grandpa Lin. She turned to introduce Ye Tiance. This beauty is Grandpa Lin's granddaughter, Lin Jiaoyang, and she is also my best friend. Please say hello. At the same time, he lowered his voice and reminded, my best friend has a bit of an arrogant temper. Please be patient with her. Ye Tiance was slightly startled. I think that your character is already arrogant enough, but you actually see arrogant people in your eyes. What kind of temper do you have? Think about it, do it. Ye Tiance still greeted politely, Miss Lin. What he didn't expect was that Lin Jiaoyang would adopt a condescending attitude. He directly issued an eviction order. He is dressed in stalls and looks like a low-class loser. He doesn't look like a doctor. What is my grandfather's status? How can a liar like you come to see a doctor? But if you are not welcome in our Lin family, please leave. Chapter 32 Beauty, you have hemorrhoids. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Lin Jiaoyang had this attitude when she came up, which made Ye Tiance frown slightly. My dear, is this an arrogant temper? Han Ruoyun explained to Lin Jiaoyang, Sister Yang, he really knows medical skills and is not a liar. Lin Jiaoyang said seriously, Yun, how come you are so confused after a serious illness? Look at this guy who is only 25 or 6 years old. What does he know about medical skills? It seems unreliable at first glance, Ye Tiance said. Whether it is reliable or not is not your final say, Lin Jiaoyang said disdainfully. Okay, then you have the ability to see what's wrong with me. If you can tell, I will believe you. If you say something wrong, get out immediately. Ye Tiance raised his eyebrows. Are you sure you want me to say it? Lin Jiaoyang said seriously. I must say it. Ye Tiance looked Lin Jiaoyang up and down, and then said eloquently, your lips are dry and white, which means you have a weak temper, you will have bad breath, often drool while sleeping, and even grind your teeth and snore. In addition, if you have an irritable personality, it means strong liver fire and imbalance of the spleen and stomach. You will have symptoms such as irregular menstruation, lack of energy, cold hands and feet, and frequent diarrhea. By the way, beauty, you still have hemorrhoids. You can't sit for a long time. It's easy to bleed after eating spicy food. I suggest you have a permanent cure. In addition. Just as he was talking, Lin Jiaoyang suddenly interrupted and said, that's enough. At this time, her face turned red, her heart beat faster, and she looked at Ye Tiance with incredible eyes. You must know that some of these little problems are her personal secrets, and even her relatives don't know. How did the guy in front of me know that? Ye Tiance smiled faintly and asked, Ms. Lin, is my diagnosis wrong? Lin Jiaoyang bit her lip and said with a very ugly face, so what if it's right? Do you have any education? Don't you know that there are some things that you shouldn't say casually? Ye Tiance had a dark look on his face. This woman is really serious. I have already reminded you that you insisted on letting me say it. Now you say it, but you blame me. Seeing that something was wrong in the atmosphere, Han Ruoyun smoothed things over and said, Sister Yang, don't be angry, after all, you should believe in his medical skills, right? Why don't you let him go to see Grandpa Lin quickly? While speaking, she even glanced at Ye Tiance secretly, and her eyes couldn't help but have a little more approval. Originally, she wasn't too sure about inviting Ye Tiance over. Look now, this guy really has some tricks up his sleeve. When you have time, ask this guy if there is any way to cure dysmenorrhea. This girl has suffered terribly from it. Lin Jiaoyang once again acted condescending. I admit that this guy has some medical skills, but he only scratches the surface. You know, even Wu Xingye, the director of the first hospital, couldn't cure my grandfather's disease, and it would be useless if you replaced him. What's more, I have asked someone to call in an expert for diagnosis and treatment today. I will definitely gain something, let alone him. Obviously, this attitude shows that he still doesn't believe Ye Tiance. Hearing this, Han Ruoyun's expression changed. Although she knew that her best friend had an arrogant temper, she was not usually like this. Could it be that Ye Tiance offended her by exposing her private problems in public? It must be. Just when Han Ruoyun was thinking about how to persuade Lin Jiaoyang, two people came down from upstairs. The leader was a middle-aged man wearing a dark blue suit and a white shirt. His face was calm and intimidating, and he gave off the aura of a superior within the system. Behind him was an old man of about 60 years old, wearing a white coat, who was obviously a doctor. After the man in a dark blue suit came downstairs, he smiled at Han Ruoyun and said, It's Yun who's here. You've just recovered from a long illness, and your uncle hasn't taken time to see you. He's really too busy with work. Aren't you angry? Han Ruoyun hurried forward and said with a polite smile, How dare I be angry with Uncle Lin? The man in the white shirt asked, Are you here to visit your Grandpa Lin today? Han Ruoyun nodded and added, And I also specially brought a friend who knows medical skills. He may be able to cure Grandpa Lin. Hearing this, the man in the white shirt shrank his pupils. Yun, are you serious about this? Han Ruoyun hummed and said, He cured the strange disease I suffered from. At this time, the old doctor stepped forward and asked expectantly, Miss Han, I wonder where your friend is? I want to see him. To know about Han Ruoyun's strange disease, many famous doctors were unable to find a solution, including him. He had already made a diagnosis at that time, and there was no solution for Han Ruoyun's strange disease. Unexpectedly, just the day before yesterday, news came out that her strange disease was actually cured by a certain divine doctor. This shocked him. I have been looking forward to visiting this miracle doctor. Unexpectedly, Han Ruoyun brought him here today. Han Ruoyun pulled Ye Tiance forward and introduced, Dean Wu, he is the friend who cured me. That at the same time, he introduced to Ye Tiance, this is the director of our Jiangnan First Hospital, Director Wu Xingyan Wu. He is a good friend of Grandpa Lin. He will come over to check Grandpa Lin's health if nothing happens. Wu Xingye looked at Ye Tiance and said in disbelief, is this too young? He originally thought that this legendary doctor was at least over 60 years old, but he didn't expect that he was only in his early 20s. It's just against the rules. However, Wu Xingye then added with a smile, however, medical skills emphasize those with advanced skills first, and do not judge by age. Don't blame me for being old and rude. Ye Tiance smiled and said, don't dare, that his first impression of Dean Wu was good. Much better than those old people who look down on young people just because of their status and seniority. At this time, the man in a dark blue suit took the initiative to extend his hand and greeted Ye Tiance. Lin Wanda, nice to meet you. Ye Tiance shook hands with him and said neither humble nor arrogantly, Chief Lin, nice to meet you. That's right, the Lin Wanda in front of you is no small figure. He is the current leader of Jiangnan City and the two top bosses in Jiangnan's municipal circles. These were all things Han Ruoyun told him before he came in. Not only that, Lin Wanda's father Lin Yuanshuan can even be called a legend. When he was young, this man joined the army and went to the battlefield to kill the enemy and defend his homeland. After the founding of the People's Republic of China, he has been committed to national construction and dedicated himself to it, until he retired as a general. He lived in Jiangnan City. Today, his son is the leader of Jiangnan City, managing millions of people. The soldiers he led back then have each become a prince in the camp. After all, Lin Yuanshuan is the real foundation of the Lin family. When it comes to the division of power in Jiangnan City, everyone will say in tacit agreement, 1 Lin, 2 masters, 3 families. Yilin refers to the Lin family. The second masters are Lord Long, the king of Jiangnan, and Lord Hu, the underground emperor. The 3 families are the Han family, Ji family, and Lu family. This shows how transcendent the Lin family status is in Jiangnan City. Of course, all this is in the eyes of Ye Tiance, who is used to seeing all kinds of big guys. It's just so. Lin Wanda watched Ye Tiance shaking hands with her without showing any timidity, and couldn't help but nodded secretly. This young man has an unusual mentality. He asked, can you really cure my father's disease? Ye Tiance said truthfully, you can only draw conclusions after seeing everything. At this time, Lin Jiaoyang's displeased voice sounded, Dad. Are you sure you want this guy to treat Grandpa? We don't even know his details. If there is any problem. Lin Wanda said, he is a friend brought by Yun Yun. What's the problem? Lin Jiaoyang was immediately speechless. Next, Lin Wanda invited Ye Tiance to treat Mr. Lin. The group of people came to Lin Yuanshuan's bedroom. Today, this bedroom has long been converted into a private ward. Various medical equipment such as ventilators and electrocardiographs are readily available. Lying on the hospital bed was a thin, white-haired old man. His face was blue, his breathing was weak, he was in a comatose state, and his life was in danger. Lin Wanda said that the old man had always been in good health, but after returning from traveling abroad half a year ago, he suddenly fell into a coma, and no cause could be found. Ye Tiance stepped forward and grabbed Lin Yuanshuan's wrist to feel his pulse. After a moment, he lowered his wrist. Han Ruoyun couldn't help but ask, what kind of disease does Grandpa Lin have? Can you tell? Ye Tiance looked at everyone and replied, Mr. Lin, he is not sick at all. Chapter 33 Shameless Taoist Gongsun. You are listening at novelfull.audio. This statement came out, several people present were stunned. Not sick at all. Lin Jiaoyang scolded, nonsense. My grandfather has been in a coma for more than half a year and has no consciousness. Isn't this illness? You are really a liar who doesn't understand anything. Wu Xingye frowned slightly and said, young friend Yi, Mr. Lin's organs are failing and there are even signs of bleeding. These are indeed symptoms of illness. How can you say you are not sick? Lin Wanda's expression became serious and she said slowly, young man, you can't make such a joke. Han Ruoyun was so anxious that he urged, Ye Tiance, please be serious and stop joking. Ye Tiance said calmly, I'm very serious. Mr. Lin is not sick. He is actually. The words were just half spoken. Outside the door, an old voice sounded, who uttered such arrogance that Mr. Lin was not sick. Everyone looked in the direction of the sound. I saw an old man with a goatee wearing a yellow robe and a flower crown appearing at the door, followed by a young man wearing a famous brand. Coincidentally, these two people were familiar faces to Ye Tiance, Taoist Gongsun and Ji Buxiao, the second son of the Ji family. Could it be that the experts Lin Jiaoyang mentioned were them? Sure enough, Lin Jiaoyang hurried up to meet him and said, Hello, Taoist Master Gongsun, I have heard of your name for a long time, and I finally invited you here today. Taoist Gongsun stroked his beard and said with an enigmatic expression, Nice to meet you. Lin Jiaoyang was satisfied with Ji Buxiao again and said, I'll trouble you this time. Ji Buxiao smiled humbly and said, Hey, no trouble. Yesterday, Ji Buxiao saw Lin Jiaoyang's post on WeChat, saying that she wanted to ask Taoist Gongsun to treat her grandfather, and asked who had a way to get in touch. After he saw the news, he immediately realized that this was a good opportunity to connect with the Lin family. There is even a chance to invite Mayor Lin to his father Ji Wuli's birthday party. How honorable is that? So he replied to the message saying that he could, and agreed to take Taoist Master Gongsun to see a doctor this morning. Lin Jiaoyang introduced Lin Wanda, Dad, this is the Taoist Gongsun I mentioned to you. Having him here to save Grandpa is much better than some liar. As he said that, he glared at Ye Tiance with disdain. Lin Wanda took the initiative to step forward and extended her hand to Taoist Gongsun, saying, Taoist Gongsun, I have long admired your name. Taoist Master Gongsun shook hands with him and said with a modest smile, Chief Lin, you have missed the award. I am a poor Taoist who only has a few means of saving people, so he is not worth mentioning. Lin Jiaoyang praised, Taoist Master Gongsun, you are too modest. Who in our Jiangnan city or even in the entire Tiannan province has not heard of your reputation? Although her words are a bit exaggerated, they are also based on certain facts. According to legend, Taoist Gongsun has been studying in Kunlun Mountain for more than 60 years. He can see yin and yang, detect feng shui, know destiny, and is good at Chinese medicine. In particular, his ability to treat hysteria and evil diseases with one hand is even more extraordinary. Lin Jiaoyang had long suspected that his grandfather was not suffering from an ordinary disease, but a strange disease such as evil spirits, so he thought of Taoist Gongsun. After Lin Jiaoyang praised Taoist Gongsun, he said to Ye Tiance, Taoist Gongsun came to treat my grandfather. You are no longer needed here. Go back to where you came from. Han Ruoyun was a little dissatisfied and said, Sister Yang Yang, you can talk like this? This Taoist Master Gongsun is really so powerful. Why didn't you cure me at first? Wasn't it because the prescription given by Ye Tiance took effect? Lin Jiaoyang was choked for a moment and subconsciously looked at Taoist Gongsun. The latter coughed slightly and said, Miss Han, you don't know something. Your strange disease was not cured by this kid at all, but was caused by a poor man. This sentence can't help but make everyone show curiosity. Taoist Master Gongsun stroked his beard and continued to explain, Pindo's method had already worked. But you have been comatose for too long and it will take some time to wake up. But your father didn't understand this, so he hurriedly asked the servants to prepare medicine for you to take. On the surface, you woke up after taking the medicine. In fact, it was just a coincidence. Even if you didn't take the medicine named Ji, you would wake up. Han Ruoyun's expression changed slightly and he asked subconsciously, Is this true? Taoist Master Gongsun put on a Taoist immortal look and said, Monks don't lie. Ji Buxiao also echoed at this time, Yun, you are usually very smart, why don't you think about it carefully? If Ye Tiance really has superb medical skills, how could he have been living in other people's houses for 3 years, and finally being kicked out? Anyone without a serious brain disorder would not be able to do this. Hearing this, Lin Wanda and Lin Jiaoyang's father and daughter's expressions became a little ugly. Good guy, after a long quarrel, this boy turned out to be the good-for-nothing son-in-law who was kicked out by others. How can such a person have superb medical skills? Even Wu Xingye shook his head in disappointment. I thought I would see a young genius doctor today, but I didn't expect it to be, snapped, snapped, snapped. But at this moment, Ye Tiance, who had been silent all this time, suddenly clapped his hands and applauded. He said to Taoist Gongsun, "The last time we met, I told you that you were not good at studying and rarely defrauded people of money. I didn't expect that you are more capable of confusing right and wrong." Ji Buxiao scolded in a deep voice, "You trash, I advise you to show some respect to Taoist Gongsun." Ye Tiance sneered and said, "My dear son, is it respect for my father that you speak to me in this tone?" Ji Buxiao's expression changed, and the corners of his mouth couldn't help but twitch. Thinking of the fact that he was forced to kneel down and call daddy by Ye Tiance at the Tianlong Hotel the night before yesterday, he became angry. "I wish I could cut Ye Tiance into pieces with 1,000 knives. Taoist Master Gongsun said dissatisfied, "Boy, you said that poor Taoists are confusing right and wrong. Do you have any evidence?" Ye Tiance asked back. "If you really cured Miss Han, why didn't you tell the truth on the spot the day before yesterday? You had to tell her today." However, Taoist Master Gongsun explained with a blush on his face, "That's because I have been cultivating all my life and never care about fame and fortune. Why do I want to show off my quick words for a while?" Ye Tiance rolled his eyes. "This Lao Deng has a thick skin as thick as the city wall." Ye Tiance was about to continue speaking when Han Ruoyun grabbed him and whispered, "Stop talking. No matter what you say, they won't believe you." Ye Tiance asked with a smile, "Oh. Listen to this, do you still believe me?" Han Ruoyun rolled her eyes at him, "You can't believe it. You're a bastard who only plays hard to get." Although Taoist Gongsun's words were conclusive, Han Ruoyun always felt that something was wrong. Relatively speaking, she still believed that Ye Tiance knew medical skills. "Otherwise, I wouldn't have diagnosed Sister Yang Yang's little problem at once." As for everyone else, at this time, Ye Tiance was no longer taken seriously. Lin Jiaoyang quickly asked Taoist Master Gongsun to diagnose and treat Lin Yuanshuan. Taoist Gongsun walked straight to the hospital bed and started various examinations. Lin Wanda and Wu Xingye stood nearby, waiting quietly. During this period, Ji Buxiao smiled at Han Ruoyun and said, "This Ye Tiance is a liar. You should stay away from him in the future." Han Ruoyun raised her chin and said coldly and arrogantly, "Do you want to take care of it?" Ji Buxiao didn't feel embarrassed and said, "By the way, tomorrow is my dad's 60th birthday. Uncle Han has decided to attend. Do you want to come too?" Han Ruoyun said angrily, "I'm in a bad mood and I don't want to go." Ji Buxiao's face froze, and he couldn't help but remain shameless. He had no choice but to glare at Ye Tiance and said angrily, "It's all your fault for making Yunyan feel bad." Ye Tiance was speechless and didn't want to talk to this idiot at all. On the other hand, Taoist Master Gongsun has completed the inspection. He straightened up, stroked his beard and said with a smile, "Pindao has found the cause of Mr. Lin's illness." Father and daughter Lin Yuanshuan and Lin Jiaoyang asked in unison, "What is the cause of the disease?" Taoist Master Gongsun pretended to be profound and said, "In traditional Chinese medicine, it is apathy, but in popular terms, Mr. Lin has lost his soul." Chapter 34 Practice. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Taoist Gongsun's words shocked everyone present. "Lao Chiner? Are you sure?" Lin Wanda frowned slightly. As a member of the system, he actually didn't want to believe in things like strange powers and gods. There is even some resistance. Taoist priest Gongsun nodded and said, "Chief Lin, what the poor Taoist said is true. As the saying goes, a person has 3 souls and 7 souls, which maintain a person's life spirit. Once the soul is lost, it can range from mental disorder to drowsiness or even unconsciousness. Dangerous life. If Pindo's prediction was correct, Mr. Lin must have received some kind of fright or mental stimulation before he fell into coma, right?" Lin Wanda and Lin Jiaoyang lowered their heads and thought. After a few seconds, Lin Jiaoyang's eyes lit up and she said, "I remembered that half a year ago, when my grandfather and I were traveling abroad, we passed by a certain village to stay overnight. At night, a one-eyed old lady suddenly knocked on the door loudly, saying that my grandfather was in a bloody disaster. We both left quickly. It shocked both of us at the time, but my grandfather didn't believe it, so he didn't take it to heart. Who would have thought? Taoist Master Gongsun stroked his beard and nodded, that's right. Mr. Lin was frightened at night and it is understandable that he lost his soul. Lin Xiaoyang asked hurriedly, is there any way to save my grandpa? Taoist Master Gongsun waved his hand and said, this matter is simple, just wait for the poor Taoist to summon the soul. He. At this time, Ye Tiance couldn't help laughing. According to his observation, Lin Yuanxuan was not a lost soul at all, let alone being frightened by such ridiculous reasons. You know, when I was young, I came out of a hail of bullets. How could you be so timid? Ji Buxiao frowned and scolded, Yi, why are you laughing? Ye Tiance replied truthfully, I laughed at this old man who was telling nonsense. Do you really believe what he said? Lin Xiaoyang said angrily, if you don't believe Taoist Gongsun, how can you believe you, a liar? If you continue to cause trouble, don't blame me for asking someone to drive you out. Lin Wanda's face also became a little unhappy, and she snorted coldly. Han Ruoyun hurriedly tugged on Ye Tiance's sleeve and warned in a low voice, shut up. You offended so many people at the Chamber of Commerce yesterday. Do you still want to offend the Lin family today? If I had known better, I wouldn't have brought you here, Ye Tiance said with an indifferent expression, I'm just a kind reminder. I hope they listen to this old man's words and don't regret it in the end. Lin Xiaoyang said with disdain, I will never regret it. Ye Tiance smiled lightly and said, remember what you said. Then he stopped talking and glanced at Wu Xingye secretly. He found that Wu Xingye looked at Taoist Gongsun with a complicated expression at this time. There was a hint of distrust, obviously. Dean Wu was also suspicious of Taoist Gongsun's words about losing his soul. It's just that because there is no evidence, it is difficult to stand up and express a position. Lin Xiaoyang said to Taoist Gongsun, Taoist master, please don't be as knowledgeable as him. Please hurry up and treat my grandfather. Taoist Master Gongsun said calmly, of course a poor Taoist will not be as knowledgeable as a clown, don't worry, Mr. Lin's life will be saved. Next, Taoist Master Gongsun asked Lin Wanda to arrange the dojo according to his requirements. The so-called dojo is not complicated, it is nothing more than a table, incense, yellow cloth and other props. After a while, Lin Wanda ordered her servants to set up a dojo in the ward. Lin Wanda cupped her hands and said, Master Taoist, thank you very much. If you can cure my father, I will be very grateful. A flash of expectation flashed in Taoist Master Gongsun's eyes. He pretended to be calm and said, it's just a trivial matter. He walked to the middle of the dojo, took out a mahogany sword from his shoulder bag, stepped forward, and murmured something. The soul is haunted by dreams, thousands of miles away from the rivers and mountains, and it returns in a day, the wind and frost on the temples. The 8 formations of figures are hanging in the sky. About a minute later, Taoist priest Gongsun suddenly shouted loudly and pointed his mahogany sword at Lin Yuanxuan on the hospital bed. Emergency is like a law, edict. Lin Yuanxuan was motionless on the hospital bed. Ji Buxiao couldn't help but ask, Taoist priest, doesn't it have any effect? Shut up. Taoist Master Gongsun scolded. He once again demonstrated the procedure exactly as he had just done, and said loudly, emergency is like a law, edict. But still nothing happened. Taoist Master Gongsun wiped some sweat from his forehead. He couldn't help but frown and said, it's strange, how could this happen? Han Ruoyun pouted and said, isn't it just a trivial matter? Why hasn't it worked yet? Lin Wanda asked, Taoist priest, are you having any difficulties? This. Taoist Master Gongsun frowned and thought. A stern look suddenly flashed in his eyes. He waved his hand and said with a smile, it's okay. Maybe it's because your father's soul has been lost for too long, which makes it more difficult to summon the soul, but it doesn't matter, poor Taoist people have their own ideas. He took out a black pill from his arms and introduced, this is the returning yang pill, that Pindao personally refined. It is specially used to summon souls. After I give it to Mr. Lin, and then cooperate with the method to summon souls, I will definitely succeed. Lin Xiaoyang hurriedly said, thank you, Taoist Master, for taking the trouble. Taoist Master Gongsun stepped forward and was about to put the returning yang pill into Lin Yuanxuan's mouth. Snapped. At this moment, a big hand suddenly grabbed his wrist. Wait, Taoist Gongsun turned around and took a look. When he found out that it was Ye Tiance who caught him, he couldn't help but asked, "What are you doing?" That when other people saw this scene, their expressions changed. Lin Jiaoyang scolded, "Uncle, your dog's paws, why are you preventing the Taoist priest from treating my grandfather?" Ji Buxiao scolded, "Yi, are you crazy? Do you have the guts to cause trouble in the Lin family?" Lin Wanda said with a serious expression, "Young man, what do you mean?" Han Ruoyun turned pale with fright and quickly signaled Ye Tiance to let go. Ye Tiance turned a deaf ear and snatched the returning yang pill from Taoist Gongsun's hand. Ye Tiance showed a solemn expression and said, "Smelly old Taoist, you are so brave. You even dare to take this kind of elixir to others. Do you still have a conscience?" The latter shook his head and said, "I don't understand what you mean, please return the pill to me." Ye Tiance not only had no intention of returning it, but instead put it in his palm with a little force. Snap! Crushed the pill instantly. Taoist Master Gongsun's eyes widened. "You bastard. This is the returning yang pill that the poor Taoist spent several years refining, and it was destroyed just like that. What a waste of money." Then, he complained to everyone has seen it. "It's not that I don't want to save people, but that this kid is deliberately sabotaging." Lin Jiaoyang said angrily, "You bastard. You liar, you dare to destroy the elixir that saved my grandfather. Come on, I will teach you a lesson today." Lin Wanda immediately raised her hand and said, "Wait a minute." He stared at Ye Tiance with his sophisticated eyes, and said with drooping eyes, "Young man, I'm afraid you have to give Lin an explanation for this matter." Anyone who is familiar with Lin Wanda knows that he is really angry. Once it happens, the consequences will be disastrous. For a moment, the atmosphere in the room was extremely depressing. Han Ruoyun's heart felt like it was in his throat. If she had known that Ye Tiance would do these things, she wouldn't have brought him here at all. Faced with such an atmosphere, Ye Tiance said neither humble nor arrogantly, "My explanation is that not only will this pill not cure Mr. Lin, it will actually cost him his life." Chapter 35 Soul Calling. I can do it too. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Ye Tiance's words were tantamount to a bombshell. The expressions of everyone present changed and they looked at Taoist Gongsun. A flash of panic flashed in Taoist Master Gongsun's eyes. He yelled loudly, You fart. My elixir is made from precious medicinal materials such as ginseng and snow lotus. It has a great tonic effect. How could it possibly harm Mr. Lin's life? Ha! Are you pretending to be confused? Ye Tiance sneered and presented the crushed pills in front of everyone. The elixir refined by this veteran has a total of 18 kinds of medicinal materials. It is true that each of them has great tonic properties, but as the saying goes, things must be reversed when they are extreme. Such a powerful tonic elixir, let alone a sick and weak person, would cause hotness, bleeding, or even fainting and shock if taken by a healthy and strong man. You actually know this truth very well, but you just think that if Mr. Lin takes it, it can forcefully stimulate the body to react or even wake up. Although this outcome is possible, the fact is that this is purely an overdraft of the old man's little remaining vitality. Once it is exhausted, he will definitely die. Ye Tiance's explanation made Lin Wanda's eyelids jump. His face darkened. Taoist priest, are you serious about this? Taoist Gongsun argued bravely, Chief Lin, don't listen to his nonsense. Can a young boy understand what Chinese medicine is and what the properties of medicine are? Lin Jiaoyang shouted angrily, Yi, I think you are deliberately sabotaging my grandfather's treatment, and now you are making excuses, right? Ye Tiance smiled and said, you can say I'm quibbling, but Dean Wu won't quibble, right? He turned to Wu Xingye and said, Dean Wu, please verify whether I am talking nonsense. Wu Xingye came over. Ye Tiance twisted some of the elixir powder in his palm, put it in front of his nose and smelled it. After a few seconds, his pupils suddenly shrank. He couldn't help but be shocked and said, this elixir contains more than 10 kinds of traditional Chinese medicine ingredients, and they are all tonic. If Mr. Lin is allowed to take it, the consequences will be disastrous, as what this little brother said. Say this at the same time, he couldn't hide his shock when he looked at Ye Tiance. As a traditional Chinese medicine doctor, distinguishing the traditional Chinese medicine ingredients of medicines is a basic ability, and it also represents the level of a traditional Chinese medicine doctor. If you can distinguish the three ingredients by sight or smell without using tools, you are considered a novice. More than 5 types are considered normal level, more than 8 types of traditional Chinese medicine can be called first class, more than 10 types are definitely master-level existences. Wu Xingye has just crossed this threshold, and this requires him to observe for a long time before he can do it. But the young man named Ye Tiance in front of him could distinguish 18 types just by looking at them. This ability is simply unheard of. Wu Xingye opened his mouth to testify, making the faces of everyone present look ugly. Lin Wanda narrowed her eyes and asked Taoist Gongsun, Taoist master, Lin needs an explanation. Ah. This. Taoist master Gongsun swallowed nervously, regardless of his reputation and status, but never dared to offend the Lin family. The reason why he took out the returning yang pill was because he thought that as long as he could revive Lin Yuanshuan, it would be enough. As for his life being overdrawn and dying, that will only happen in a few days. By then, no one can blame him but the old man's bad luck. But he didn't expect that he would be disturbed by Ye Tiance. But he is a veteran after all. Turning his eyes, he said, Chief Lin, please don't worry. Although the returning yang pill will have such side effects, if it is used in conjunction with spiritualism, the side effects will be offset and it will not be a problem at all. As he spoke, he pointed at Ye Tiance. He knocked back and said, in the final analysis, it's all this kid's fault for ruining the soul-calling process, otherwise Mr. Lin would have been rescued. Facing the attack of Gongsun Taoist priest. Ye Tiance couldn't help but sneered, how dare you say that you can summon spirits? Don't make people laugh. Taoist master Gongsun said loudly, arrogant boy. I don't know how to summon spirits, how can you? Ye Tiance said with a relaxed look, it's just summoning souls, what's the difficulty? Hearing this, Taoist master Gongsun was overjoyed. He thought secretly, this guy is still too young in his martial arts experience, and he actually rushed to turn attention to himself. In this way, the poor Taoist can escape from his shell, so he said, then you show us your performance. If you can't do it, you will be responsible for failing to cure Mr. Lin today. Ji Buxiao rolled his eyes and guessed what Taoist Gongsun meant. He also echoed, you surnamed Yi, you boast loudly. If you have the ability, why don't you try summoning spirits? Don't embarrass yourself. A flash of worry flashed in Han Ruoyun's eyes, and he reminded, Ye Tiance, forget it, they are actually. Ye Tiance raised his hand and interrupted, don't worry, I know it all. As he spoke, he took a sharp step towards the ground with his right foot, held the finger with his left hand, and silently recited the formula in his heart. Taoist master Gongsun said disdainfully, you don't even build a dojo, you just do the magic to summon the souls. You don't understand anything at first glance. Hearing this, Lin Jiaoyang and Ji Buxiao also sneered. They are all waiting for Ye Tiance to cause embarrassment. At this moment, Ye Tiance suddenly opened his eyes and shouted softly, come on. The next second, there was an inexplicable cool breeze blowing in the ward. Hoo-hoo. The indoor temperature dropped several degrees instantly, making people unable to help but get goosebumps. At this scene, the expressions of several people present could not help but change. Taoist master Gongsun couldn't help but said in surprise, what's going on? Ye Tiance smiled and said, you'll know soon. He snapped and snapped his fingers. When Taoist Gongsun and Ji Buxiao heard the snap of their fingers, their eyes suddenly blurred. Ben Instinct rubbed his eyes and then opened them to look. My eyeballs almost burst out. Because in front of them, the originally brightly lit ward became very cold and dark, and several innocent souls with bleeding orifices and pale faces appeared. These innocent souls slowly floated toward them with their mouths wide open, and various shrill sounds came out of their terrifying mouths. Come down and stay with me. I'm so cold. Give me my life. Give me my life. Hand over your heart and liver, I will eat your bone marrow. Jia 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 jia. Where had Gongsun Taoist priest and Ji Buxiao seen such a scene? He was so scared that he immediately ran away with his head in his arms. Ji Buxiao cried to his father and mother, oh my God. Don't kill me. Master Gongsun, don't you know how to summon spirits? Get these things away quickly. Taoist Gongsun was so anxious that he burst into tears and said, I'm a damn good at summoning spirits. You'd believe me if I brag about it. Ouch. You scared me to death, old man. Ji Buxiao yelled, what a fool. You lying old dog, I've suffered a lot from you. In fact, except for the two of them, Lin Wanda and the rest of the people didn't actually see this. Although they didn't know what Ji Buxiao and the others saw. I don't know what Ye Tiance did, but the conversation between the two guys on the ground told them that Taoist Gongsun didn't know how to summon spirits at all, and his previous remarks were all nonsense. Snapped. As Ye Tiance snapped his fingers again, everything Gongsun Daozhang and Ji Buxiao saw disappeared, but because I was too frightened, at this time, the two of them had already fallen to the ground, trembling all over and with fear in their eyes. The unsatisfactory crotch was even more wet, and I was so angry. Where is the arrogant look from before? At this time, Lin Wanda's face looked very ugly. These two things not only acted mysteriously, they even almost killed the old man. Unforgivable. He snorted coldly, come here, beat these two things up and throw them out. They are not allowed to step into the Lin family again. Yes, two bodyguards came in and dragged Ji Buxiao and Taoist Gongsun out. Then, there was the sound of fists and kicks outside, and wailing continued, until he was thrown out in embarrassment in the end. After some interlude, Lin Wanda looked at Ye Tiance's expression, and for the first time he took it seriously. He cupped his hands and said, it was Lin who was ignorant and neglected divine Dr. Yi earlier. Please help me save my father. That it was beyond Lin Wanda's expectation, Ye Tiance said calmly, what if I refuse? Chapter 36 Ye Tiance, I'm sorry. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Ye Tiance's response was beyond everyone's expectations. What is Lin Wanda's identity? In Jiangnan City, what he said was almost the same as an imperial edict. At this time, his request was actually rejected by Ye Tiance. Lin Jiaoyang was the first to express her dissatisfaction and said, you don't even listen to my father's words. Do you know the consequences? Ye Tiance said with an indifferent expression, I don't care. You. Lin Jiaoyang was so angry that she gritted her teeth. She really wanted to go up and slap Ye Tiance. The atmosphere seemed not quite right. Han Ruoyun reminded Ye Tiance in a low voice, please stop saying a few words. Didn't you promise me to treat Grandpa Lin? Why did you refuse again? Apologize to Uncle Lin, Ye Tiance said calmly, I didn't do anything wrong, why should I apologize? Han Ruoyun instantly felt the urge to cry without tears. Thinking that this guy had offended a group of Jiangnan City dignitaries at the bidding chamber, she felt that he was already very bold. I didn't expect that my performance at Lin's house would be even more bold today. Doesn't he know what fear is? Or are you deliberately trying to be a hero in front of her? There is no cure. So Han Ruoyun could only plead with Lin Wanda, Uncle Han, you, don't take it to heart, Ye Tiance didn't mean it, he. Lin Wanda raised her hand to interrupt her, Yun, Uncle, I don't mean to blame you. Let me have a few words with Dr. Yi first. He looked at Ye Tiance and asked with a smile, I wonder why Dr. Yi said this. If there are any conditions needed to take action, please feel free to ask. No matter how troublesome it is, as long as Lin can do it, we will try our best to solve it. Ye Tiance narrowed his eyes slightly, this Lin Wanda is indeed a person who has reached the top of the market, and his mentality is really mature and calm. If he had been a more narrow-minded person, he would have become angry just now based on his refusal attitude. Ye Tiance didn't hide anything, and simply said, my conditions are very easy, not that troublesome. As he spoke, he pointed at Lin Jiaoyang. The latter's face changed and he said in disgust, you surnamed Yi, you don't want me, do you? I advise you to give up this idea, I don't like a man like you. Ye Tiance rolled his eyes and said, you misunderstood, I'm not interested in women like you, I just want you to apologize for your previous words and deeds towards me. Isn't that difficult? Hear this, Han Ruoyun on the side breathed a secret sigh of relief, just now she thought Ye Tiance wanted to be the son-in-law of the market leader. As for asking Lin Jiaoyang to apologize, it is understandable. After all, her previous attitude towards Ye Tiance was indeed excessive. But such a simple condition was rejected by Lin Jiaoyang coldly. Just because you want me to apologize? I don't even care about your status. Are you worthy? That arrogant and strong attitude. Ye Tiance said calmly, in that case, forget it. Farewell. Dr. Yi, please stay. Lin Wanda suddenly spoke to stop him. He turned to Lin Jiaoyang and ordered in a deep voice, why don't you apologize to divine Dr. Yi quickly? Lin Jiaoyang looked unconvinced and said, why do you want me to apologize? Besides, why is he a miracle doctor? Who knows if he was just making a fool of himself? Snapped. Suddenly, Lin Wanda slapped Lin Jiaoyang in the face. The room suddenly became quiet. Lin Wanda's cold eyes flashed. I asked you to apologize to Dr. Yi, don't you understand what I say? Lin Jiaoyang couldn't help but tremble, and her eyes widened. This was the first time Lin Wanda hit her since she was so old. You know, I never even yelled at her loudly before. And today he actually slapped himself in public for an outsider. The tears of grievance flowed down instantly uncontrollably. Of course, no matter how arrogant she was, she would not dare to contradict her angry father. In the end, I could only bite my lip unwillingly and clenched my fists. He said to Ye Tiance, yes. I'm sorry, please forgive me. Then, Lin Wanda also said helplessly, Dr. Yi, my wife passed away early, and I was very busy at work, so I indulged in my daughter's education, which caused her to develop such an overbearing character. Please don't go there. Take it from your heart. Ye Tiance is not one to push beyond his limits. Then he nodded and said, since Miss Lin has apologized, this matter is over. I will treat it with Mr. Lin. Lin Wanda was overjoyed and asked hurriedly, what do I need to prepare? Ye Tiance replied, a sterilized silver needle, a wash basin, and a bottle of strong liquor will do. Lin Wanda was stunned for a moment. That's it, that's all. Ye Tiance nodded affirmatively. Lin Wanda couldn't keep asking any more questions, so she asked the servant to make preparations quickly. Wu Xingye, who was not far away, frowned slightly. As long as Ye Tiance has these three things, can he really cure Mr. Lin? Lin Jiaoyang stood a little further away, still staring at Ye Tiance unwillingly. You liar. I want to see how you can cure my grandfather. If you can't, I will make you pay for what you just did. While waiting for items to be prepared, Han Ruoyun asked Ye Tiance curiously, by the way, did you really use spiritualism just now to scare Taoist Gongsun and the others? Ye Tiance smiled and said, guess what? Han Ruoyun rolled his eyes, guess. I'm a kid, so I still guess. Ye Tiance smiled faintly and did not respond. In fact, he did not use spiritualism just now, but used a blind method specifically on Taoist Gongsun and Jibuxiao, causing them to hallucinate and see the ghosts of the wronged, and they were scared to death. After all, as long as the purpose of exposing Taoist Gongsun is achieved, that's enough. Soon, 3 items were delivered by the servant. Ye Tiance poured high-concentration liquor into the basin. He said to Wu Xingye, Dean Wu, please help Mr. Lin sit up. I want to prepare for acupuncture. It is good. Wu Xingye nodded and went over to help Lin Yuanshuan sit up from the hospital bed. Ye Tiance picked up a silver needle and flicked the tail, causing the whole needle to shake violently. Next moment, he mobilized his inner energy and quickly inserted the silver needle into Lin Yuanshuan's Tanzhong point. Then, Ye Tiance used the same method to cast the second shot. Prick it on the Tianqi point. And so on, 6 stitches in total. Lin Jiaoyang secretly curled her lips and muttered, I've been doing it for a long time, but it's just acupuncture. I thought it was something special. Wu Xingye couldn't help but wonder, although this young man's acupuncture technique is experienced and mature, he can't see anything special about it. It will really work, okay? His eyes suddenly focused, and he saw traces of white steam emerging from the pores of Lin Yuanshuan's body. Also seen were Lin Wanda, Han Ruoyun and others. Everyone's eyes widened. This is the first time for everyone to see this phenomenon. A few more seconds passed. Han Ruoyun suddenly said, look at Grandpa Lin's chest. there seems to be something, but I saw a bulge slowly appearing on Lin Yuanshuan's chest, a long shape, slowly squirming. Ye Tiance narrowed his eyes and said, "We're coming out." Han Ruoyun, take the basin and follow my orders later. Han Ruoyun hummed and took the basin away. Ye Tiance picked up the 7th silver needle and pierced it into Lin Yuanshuan's giant acupoint with lightning speed. Hum! With the silver needle trembling slightly, the bulge on Lin Yuanshuan's chest seemed to be frightened, and its movement speed suddenly accelerated. Just when he was about to reach Lin Yuanshuan's throat, Ye Tiance quickly ordered, "Hurry up and put the basin in front of Mr. Lin." Han Ruoyun did it immediately. Next moment, Lin Yuanshuan spat out a ball of black liquid in the basin. It was sticky. Everyone took a closer look. I saw a white insect nearly 10 centimeters long in the basin, rolling and struggling in the strong wine. Everyone turned pale with fear. What's this? Chapter 37 Gu Worm. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Ye Tiance replied, "This is a leech." Lin Wanda was shocked and said, "Why are there leeches in my father's body?" Wu Xingye was also puzzled. Even if you drink water with leech eggs by mistake, it will be difficult for it to survive in the body, let alone grow so big. Ye Tiance was about to explain. A weak cough suddenly interrupted everyone's thoughts. Lin Yuanshuan slowly opened his eyes and said in a hoarse voice, Am I still alive?" Han Ruoyun said happily, "Grandpa Lin, are you really awake?" Wu Xingye's eyes widened and he said in shock, "What a miracle. This old man's eyes have been opened today." Even Lin Jiaoyang opened her mouth wide with a look of disbelief. This bastard actually succeeded. Lin Wanda, who had always been emotionally stable, now had slightly red eyes. "Dad, what do you think? Do you feel uncomfortable anywhere?" Lin Yuanshuan said weakly, "Except for losing strength, everything else is fine." "Who saved me?" Lin Wanda quickly introduced. "It was the miracle Dr. Ye Tiance who saved you. Even though he is young, in fact." He quickly recounted everything that had happened before. After hearing this, Lin Yuanshuan bowed to Ye Tiance and said, "Mr. Yi, I cannot thank you enough for your kindness. You saved my life. From today on, you will be the great benefactor of our Lin family. If you need anything, please feel free to ask." Ye Tiance smiled and said, "Mr. Lin, you're too polite. I'm just saving people. I don't have any needs." This sentence made both Lin Yuanshuan and Lin Wanda nod secretly. This young man's pattern is not simple. Wu Xingye asked, "Mr. Yi, why did the leeches appear in Mr. Lin's body?" The others also looked at Ye Tiance curiously. Ye Tiance explained, "Actually, this is not an ordinary leech, but a kind of gu insect in southern Xinjiang, which cannot be detected by medical equipment, because gu insects can parasitize and absorb vitality in the body." Mr. Lin fell into a coma. It was not because of any problem with his own body, so I said before that Mr. Lin was not sick at all. Gu worm. Is there really such a thing? Everyone was shocked. Before they knew it, gu insects were all fictitious products. Ye Tiance said, "The world is full of wonders. If I guessed correctly, when Mr. Lin went out to play in other places half a year ago, he should have been in the southern Xinjiang area, which is where he accidentally got poisoned, and the old lady who knocked on the door that night to remind you that you were in danger of a bloody disaster must have been referring to this." Lin Yuanshuan nodded and said, "What Dr. Yi said is true. Old man, the place I visited at that time was in southern Xinjiang." Everyone's expressions were astonished. That way, everything is explained. But at this moment, Ye Tiance changed the subject and reminded, "Gu insects are not easy to refine. They are very rare even in southern Xinjiang. Generally speaking, the probability of getting a poison when playing is lower than winning a lottery ticket." That is to say, Lin Wanda's eyes narrowed, "Are you saying that my father's poisoning was not an accident, but a poison caused by someone?" Ye Tiance nodded. Lin Wanda's eyes flashed with a fierce light and said, "No matter who did it, I will chase him to the end and I will not let him go." Lin Yuanshuan sighed, "Old man, I have always been aboveboard in doing things in my life, but I have also offended many people for being too upright. Maybe it was one of them who did it, ahem." As he spoke, he suddenly coughed violently. Ye Tiance immediately reminded, Mr. Lin, don't get too excited. You just woke up and need more rest. Then he stepped forward and removed all the silver needles from Lin Yuanshuan's body. He asked Wu Xingye to help Lin Yuanshuan lie down again. Then, the group left the ward, leaving 2 servants to take care of them. Everyone returned to the living room. Han Ruoyun handed the basin filled with white leeches to Ye Tiance and asked, what should I do with it? Ye Tiance said, it has been killed by liquor. Just dump it and bury it with soil. Lin Wanda immediately ordered someone to take away the wash basin and dispose of it. Ye Tiance continued, by the way, there is still some poison left in Mr. Lin's body. I will prescribe a prescription later, which has the effect of removing poison and restoring vitality. Take it as required, and you will be fully recovered in a week. Then I ask for paper and pen to write down the prescription. The medicinal materials inside are not rare, and I believe that with the power of the Lin family, they will be able to obtain them. Lin Wanda said excitedly, it's hard to repay the kindness of Dr. Yi in saving my father. Please feel free to ask Mr. Yi if you have any needs. Ye Tiance waved his hand and said, I have already said that I don't need anything. Now that the matter is settled, I will leave now. Lin Wanda could only say, then I will send you off personally. Wu Xingye also said, I will also send Dr. Yi as a gift. Before leaving, Ye Tiance reminded again, remember, you must prepare the medicine according to my prescription. If there is a deviation, the consequences will be disastrous. Lin Wanda said that she should keep everything in mind. Then the 2 of them sent Ye Tiance and Han Ruoyun away. Lin Jiaoyang was the only one left in the living room, looking unhappy. Humph. It's just a lucky stroke that saved my grandfather. What's so great about it? But why doesn't he want any reward or benefits? It's not in line with common sense. Could it be that he... As she spoke, her eyes suddenly fell on the prescription on the table. Seems like I figured something out. She picked up her mobile phone and made a call. Hey. Professor Li, there is a prescription that I would like to ask you to identify. Ye Tiance and Han Ruoyun left the Lin family. Han Ruoyun couldn't help but sigh. I didn't expect that you are really good at medical skills. This girl is surprised. You are so good. Why would Xiao Qingcheng ask for a divorce from you? A hint of sadness flashed in Ye Tiance's eyes. Seeing this, Han Ruoyun smiled and said, let's not talk about the bad things, let's change the topic. You saved Grandpa Lin today, which is a great help to me. I can give you any reward you need, such as having a meal together. Ye Tiance simply refused and said, no need, if there is nothing else, I will go back first. After saying that, he strode away quickly. Han Ruoyun, who stayed where he was so angry that he stamped his feet. The proud man's chest heaved together and said, Ye Tiance, you don't know what is good or bad. How many people dreamed of having dinner with me, but you refused. Oh. I understand, you are still deliberately setting up your character and playing hard to get, right? No one will be fooled. In my eyes, you are far behind compared to the big shot behind Mr. Long. While talking, Han Ruoyun suddenly realized something. Last night, it was because Ye Tiance made trouble at the tendering Chamber of Commerce that her father called her home early, and the Chamber of Commerce was also cancelled. The big man she had been thinking about was not able to see her. Think of this. Han Ruoyun became even more aggrieved and angry. Gritting his teeth, he said, asshole, don't let me meet you next time, I will make you look good. Jiangnan First Hospital, in a high-end ward, Xiao Hongming sat on the hospital bed and said earnestly to Xiao Qingcheng, who was sitting beside the bed, Qingcheng, Grandpa has been lying here for the past 2 days and thinking carefully. Maybe I did owe you for insisting on letting you fulfill your engagement with Tiance 3 years ago. I've considered it. Alas, you've suffered so much these past 3 years. Hearing Ye Tiance's name, Xiao Qingcheng's heart trembled subconsciously. He smiled bravely and said, it's nothing hard. Anyway, after we get the divorce certificate, we will have nothing to do with each other. Xiao Hongming looked disappointed and said, I have always regarded Tiance as my grandson, but I was hospitalized the night before yesterday and asked you to call him to come over, but you were rejected. I didn't expect that he didn't take me seriously at all. Xiao Qingcheng said subconsciously, Ye Tiance came that night. Xiao Hongming was stunned for a moment. your mother and Xiao Nan clearly told me that Tiance didn't come over, and also said that he wanted to sever ties with the Xiao family." As he said that, he suddenly realized something was wrong. The old face darkened, asked, "Tell Grandpa, what happened the night before yesterday?" Chapter 38 Invite Ye Tiance back to the Xiao family. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Faced with Xiao Hongming's serious question, Xiao Qingcheng truthfully told the whole story of what happened in the hospital the night before yesterday. After listening, Xiao Hongming was so angry that his lips trembled. Okay. Not only did they lie to me, they also discredited Tiance, causing me to wrongly blame him. This is unforgivable. Xiao Hongming immediately ordered, "Qingcheng, call them both here, right away." Xiao Qingcheng advised, "Grandpa, the doctor recommends that you take a good rest and not get angry. We will discuss it after you recover." Xiao Qingcheng also didn't expect that her mother and brother would do such a thing behind her back. Xiao Hongming said resolutely, "No. We must call them all." Xiao Qingcheng could only follow the instructions and called Zhang Huilan and Xiao Nan. After a while, Zhang Huilan and her mother rushed to the ward in a panic. When they saw Xiao Hongming's cold expression, both of them were extremely nervous. Zhang Huilan said awkwardly, "Dad, please listen to our explanation." "Actually," Xiao Hongming said coldly, "kneel down." In the Xiao family, Xiao Hongming has a high status, and he speaks for himself. Zhang Huilan and Xiao Nan fell to their knees on the ground. Xiao Hongming scolded, "You two are so brave. You have deceived me again and again. Do you really think I am an old fool? Or do you want to make me angry to death?" Zhang Huilan and her mother lowered their heads and trembled. Xiao Nan said, "Grandpa, don't be angry. We were wrong and we won't dare to do it again. Why don't we apologize to you?" Xiao Hongming snorted coldly, "What's the use of apologizing to me? Now I ask you two to apologize to Tiance immediately, ask him to come back to Zhao's house, and the divorce between him and Qingcheng must be discussed again." As soon as these words came out, the expressions of the other three people changed. Xiao Qingcheng frowned and was about to speak. Xiao Nan raised his head and refused to accept it and said, "Grandpa, Ye Tiance has been living in my house for 3 years and is a loser. What qualifications does he have for me to apologize to him? I won't go." Xiao Hongming glared angrily, "Asshole. Don't you even listen to Grandpa?" Xiao Nan turned his head away, completely unconvinced. Zhang Huilan also said, "Dad. Qingcheng finally got rid of that trash. Why do you insist on pushing her into the fire pit? You don't know, what did that guy do at the tender chamber last night? It almost destroyed our Xiao family." Xiao Hongming frowned and asked, "What did Tiance do last night?" Hear the words, Xiao Qingcheng quickly glanced at Zhang Huilan, signaling her not to say anything. After all, everything that happened at the tender meeting last night was too thrilling. She was worried that her grandfather's heart would not be able to bear it after hearing it. Zhang Huilan didn't care about that. He complained directly, in order to get revenge on Qingcheng for filing for divorce, that bastard deliberately made a big fuss at the tender meeting. Not only did our family lose 100 billion orders, but he also offended Master Hu. Zhang Huilan narrated everything in detail. Of course, she added fuel to some details that were biased towards Ye Tiance, and put the blame on Ye Tiance. After listening, Xiao Hongming looked shocked. The 100 billion order that the Xiao family had worked hard to obtain for so long was ruined by Ye Tiance. Not only did he offend many powerful people in Jiangnan City, he even offended Lord Tiger. This is simply a catastrophic disaster. How could this be? Why? The more Xiao Hongming thought about it, the more anxious he became, and his breathing began to quicken. Layers of cold sweat began to break out on my forehead. Xiao Qingcheng realized something was wrong. He quickly asked, "Grandpa, what's wrong with you? Do you feel uncomfortable?" Xiao Hongming was about to answer when he suddenly felt a sharp pain in his chest. Puff! A mouthful of old blood spurted out, and he fainted directly on the hospital bed. Xiao Qingcheng and the others were so frightened that their expressions changed. "Grandfather! Doctor! Call the doctor quickly." 2 hours later, outside the ward, Wu Xingye sighed and said, "Mr. Xiao, although I rushed back for treatment in time, the condition of the Xiao family is not very optimistic. If he does not receive further treatment, I am afraid he will not survive for 5 days. Hearing this, the expressions of Xiao Qingcheng and the others changed. This news is so unexpected. Xiao Qingcheng asked nervously, Dean Wu, how could this happen? Didn't you say before that my grandfather only needs to rest and recover slowly? That Wu Xingye explained. That was before, but today the head of the Xiao family has been strongly stimulated. His old diseases have relapsed and become aggravated. No matter how healthy his body is, he can't bear it. Xiao Qingcheng continued to ask, Dean Wu, is there any way to save my grandfather? No matter what precious medicinal materials or methods are used, I can bear it. Wu Xingye shook his head and said he was helpless. Xiao Qingcheng clenched her fists, her eyes red. He turned around and said dissatisfiedly to Zhang Huilan and Xiao Nan, I blame you two for talking too much. I told you not to talk nonsense, why didn't you listen? Xiao Nan shrank his neck and said, I didn't expect it to be like this. Zhang Huilan curled her lips and said, this actually has nothing to do with either of us. In the final analysis, it's all the fault of that white-eyed wolf. If it weren't for him, the old man wouldn't be so angry. You. Xiao Qingcheng was about to speak. Wu Xingye's eyes suddenly lit up and he said, Mr. Xiao, I suddenly remembered a miracle doctor. He may be able to cure the Xiao family master's disease. Xiao Qingcheng's expression was filled with joy. Are you serious? Where is that miracle doctor? I'll invite him over right now. Wu Xingye said, of course it's true. But I only had a one-time relationship with that miracle doctor, and I didn't leave any contact information. Well, in this way, I will help you find a way to contact him, and I will definitely give you a reply tomorrow at the latest. Xiao Qingcheng hurriedly said, thank you very much, Dean Wu, please convey this to me. As long as the miracle doctor is willing to come for diagnosis and treatment, I can do anything he wants. After Wu Xingye left, Xiao Qingcheng is also busy preparing to attend the Ji family's birthday banquet tomorrow and welcome the eldest lady of the Han family, but he is not sure about letting Zhang Huilan and Xiao Nan take care of his grandfather, so this time I hired 2 more caregivers to take care of me. So I felt relieved. When leaving the hospital, in her eyes, she regained her former aloof confidence. This time, I must get back everything I lost at the Chamber of Commerce last night. Ye Tiance, I will prove that it is you who should regret. The next day, morning, Ye family cemetery, Ye Tiance stood in front of his family's mausoleum, with a hint of ferocity in his sad expression. Grandpa, there is news that the tiger-shaped jade pendant you were wearing will appear at the auction of Ji Wuli's birthday banquet. I will go to investigate in person later and follow this clue until I find the one who killed you. The real murderer. Don't worry, no matter who it is, I will make him pay 10 times and 100 times the price. Take a deep breath. Ye Tiance turned around and left the cemetery, getting on a black Maybach parked at the entrance of the cemetery. The license plate number is Jiang. If anyone familiar with it knows that this is the car of Jiangnan King Zhao Hailong. At this time, Zhao Hailong was sitting in the driver's seat with a respectful expression. After seated, Ye Tiance narrowed his cold eyes slightly and ordered, go to Ji's house. Chapter 39. You only have one father, Ye Tiance. You are listening at novelfull.audio. On the way to Ji's house, Zhao Hailong told Ye Tiance all the information he learned about the Ji family birthday party. For this Ji family birthday banquet, invitation letters were issued to many dignitaries in Jiangnan City. When they heard that Rong Meiyan, the eldest daughter of the Rong family in the provincial capital, would come to the birthday banquet, many people were attracted to attend the birthday banquet. Hoping to catch a glimpse of the beauty of the Rong family, there was no other way, so the Ji family temporarily issued many waiting invitations, but they were still all sold out. The price is even higher on the black market. Zhao Hailong concluded, actually, the Ji family is very happy to see this phenomenon. Over the years, their family has always wanted to expand their influence. This birthday banquet and the presence of Miss Rong family, for the Ji family, today is a great opportunity to make a public appearance. Ye Tiance smiled lightly and said, maybe what is exposed today is not the face, but the butt. Zhao Hailong smiled in agreement and continued, my subordinates also remembered one thing. This time the Ji family issued a statement asking guests to just attend the birthday banquet and not accept any money or gifts. It means that the Ji family only treats guests with integrity as partners. Not talking about interests. Ye Tiance sneered, the Ji family has the nerve to tell the truth. Only a ghost can believe it. Zhao Hailong nodded and said, yes, although the Ji family said they would not accept gifts, this time they held a small auction specifically at the birthday banquet. On the surface, it was said to be to adjust the atmosphere of the birthday banquet, but in fact, it was to allow those guests who wanted to curry favor with the Ji family to compete for the top spot and spend money to bid. The money gained from this was much more than that of the collectors. In the end, the money was collected and the reputation was earned, killing two birds with one stone. Ye Tiance didn't care about this. He came today just for his grandfather's tiger-shaped jade pendant. Soon, Zhao Hailong sent Ye Tiance to the place where Ji's family held a birthday banquet. Ye Tiance got out of the car. Zhao Hailong handed him an invitation letter for the birthday banquet. Mr. Yi, this is the waiting invitation letter issued by the Ji family yesterday. There is no registered name. With it, you can enter without verifying your identity. Ye Tiance took the invitation and nodded, thank you for your hard work. Go back. Zhao Hailong drove away, he will not attend this birthday party. After all, the Tianlong group has announced that it has blocked the Ji family. Penglai Pavilion, a famous Chinese-style hotel in Jiangnan City, surrounded by red walls, there are rockeries, gardens, fountains, etc., and the mist lingers, making it look like a fairy residence. This place is also the Ji family's property. Today at noon, the Ji family birthday banquet will be held here. The door is already bustling with people and luxury cars. Wealthy businessmen and nobles stepped into the Penglai Pavilion Hotel with smiles on their faces, and discussed various topics. TSK, the Ji family's birthday banquet was held with great style today. It deserves to be one of the three major families in Jiangnan. I heard that the eldest lady of the Rong family will come to the scene. If I can get to know her, I will enjoy endless wealth and glory in the future. If we want to get on the Rong family's boat, we all must first hold on to the Ji family's thigh. Ye Tiance walked into the hotel door, walked through the Chinese-style corridor of the hotel and arrived at the entrance of the banquet hall. Here, he saw two familiar faces, the two brothers Ji Buduan and Ji Buxiao. The two people were greeting the guests present and exchanging various greetings. When their eyes fell on Ye Tiance, his expression immediately changed to one of surprise and disgust. The most excited person was Ji Buxiao, who strode over directly. He scolded with a straight face, Ye Tiance, today is my dad's birthday party, what are you doing here? Get out. Ye Tiance pretended to be displeased and said, son, what are you talking about? You only have me, Ye Tiance, as your father. Where did another father appear from? Ji Buxiao was so angry that he broke his guard. He knelt down to Ye Tiance once and called him daddy, but now he has to say yin and yang every time he meets him. I really can't bear it. Ji Buxiao glared and threatened, you bitch, do you know the consequences of provoking me? Ye Tiance smiled lightly and said, could it be that something scares me so much that I cry for father and mother, or even pee my pants? I can't compare to some people in this regard. This was another stab in Ji Buxiao's heart. Thinking of everything that happened at the Lin family yesterday, Ji Buxiao felt scared and embarrassed. Of course, it's more anger. Because after he came back yesterday, he realized that it must be Ye Tiance's fault. Ji Buxiao gritted his teeth and said, you still have the guts to mention what happened yesterday. I will kill you today. Just when he was about to charge forward with fists pumping, Ji Buduan grabbed his wrist and said softly, don't be impulsive. Ji Buxiao glanced at Ji Buduan and said in confusion, brother, why are you stopping me? This thing has tricked me so badly, I must give him a good beating today. Ji Buduan lowered his voice and said, of course I know this loser deserves a beating, but don't you know what the occasion is today? At our dad's birthday party, we hit someone in front of so many guests. How will others see it if it is spread out? Ji Buxiao said unwillingly, but... Stop it. Ji Buduan interrupted him and said confidently, just leave this person named Ji to me. You go first to the banquet hall to greet other guests. Ji Buxiao let out a reluctant breath. He glared at Ye Tiance and said, I don't have the same experience as you today, After Ji Buxiao left and went to the banquet hall, the remaining Ji Budwan took a step forward and put his hands in his pockets. He said with a condescending look, Yi, you are such a freeloader. You are so haunted that you even chased me to my father's birthday party. I put my words aside here. With your humble status, you do not have permission to enter the banquet hall. If you want to hang out and beg for food, go to Shaxian Snacks across the street, which is more suitable for you. Faced with Ji Budwan's sharp ridicule, Ye Tiance said neither humble nor arrogantly, Who told you that I don't have permission to enter? Ji Budwan laughed out loud and said, Are you kidding me? If you want to attend my dad's birthday party, you must get an invitation letter. However, he just finished speaking. Ye Tiance held up an invitation and said, Open your eyes wide and see what this is. Ji Budwan took a closer look. His eyes almost popped out of his head. Why do you have a waiting list of invitations? Ye Tiance smiled lightly and said, You don't care how I got this, I'm just asking you if you can go in. This. Ji Budwan's face was full of confusion. In fact, the invitations issued at the beginning of the Ji family birthday banquet were all real name, and the number was limited, but after learning that the eldest lady of the Rong family was coming the day before yesterday, countless people in Jiangnan City rushed to attend the birthday banquet. It happened that the Ji family also wanted to take this opportunity to expand their influence, so they temporarily printed a batch of waiting invitations and sent them out. Due to time constraints, this batch of invitations did not have real names, but they were all marked with prices, 10 each, 100 in total. This alone made 1,000 million. Despite the high price of standby invitation letters, demand exceeded supply and even fetched high prices on the black market. Unexpectedly, Ye Tiance actually got one. Ye Tiance said, Why don't you answer my question? Can I go in? A sharp look flashed in Ji Budwan's eyes. Of course he didn't want Ye Tiance to go in, even if the other party had a waiting invitation. So he took a step forward. He lowered his voice and said sinisterly, This is my territory. If I say I won't let you in, I won't let you in. If you don't believe it, just hold back. Ye Tiance narrowed his eyes coldly and was about to make a move. Suddenly a familiar voice sounded behind him, Young Master Ji, we are here to celebrate the birthday of Master Ji, are we not late? Turned, I saw Xiao Qingcheng walking towards him with Zhang Huilan and Xiao Nan. The moment he saw Ye Tiance, Xiao Qingcheng, who had a slight smile on his face, immediately changed his expression. Chapter 40 I no longer need to report everything to you, Xiao Qingcheng. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Today Xiao Qingcheng was wearing an ivory dress that clung to her perfect figure, coupled with her unique cold temperament. It is rare in the world. Xiao Qingcheng frowned and asked in an unexpected tone, Ye Tiance, what are you doing here? Ye Tiance said calmly, Whatever I do I still have to report everything to you, Xiao Qingcheng, as before? Xiao Qingcheng's eyes trembled slightly, Yes. I have already filed for divorce from him, so I really don't need to report to her anymore, but for some reason, this feeling of losing control made her a little uncomfortable. At this time, Ji Budwan snorted coldly, Qingcheng, this loser got an invitation letter from nowhere and wanted to come in to eat and drink, but I stopped him. Xiao Nan mocked, Today is the 60th birthday of the head of the Ji family. Which of the people who are qualified to participate is not an upper-class person and is worthy of you? Zhang Huilan scolded, You white-eyed wolf, can you stop being a disgusting person in front of us? Get out of here. Seeing Zhang Huilan and her son speaking for him, Ji Budwan's eyes flashed with pride. He said in a condescending tone, Did you hear that? No one welcomes you here. If you still don't get out, don't blame me for calling the bodyguards to chase you away. Ye Tiance narrowed his eyes and said, Whether I get out or not is not up to you. He held the invitation up slightly, raising his voice, Young Master of the Ji family, are you sure you want to exclude all the guests who have been waiting for invitations? Or is it that the Ji family does not recognize the waiting invitations? This sound immediately attracted many guests at the entrance of the banquet hall. What? Didn't you say that you can attend the birthday banquet even if you have a standby invitation? But you're not allowed to enter. I spent 20 on this alternate invitation letter on the black market. What do you mean by not admitting it? Young Master Ji, what's going on? Faced with the sudden questioning by many guests, Ji Budwan was sweating profusely. You must know that a full 100 waitlist invitations have been issued, involving an extremely wide range of people. How dare he not admit it? This is obviously because Ye Tiance, the bastard, is deliberately setting the pace. Ji Budwan braced himself and explained, don't get excited, please. I didn't mean not to acknowledge the alternate invitation. I just suspected that this guy had stolen the alternate invitation, so I wouldn't let him in. As for you. The words were not finished, he was immediately interrupted by Ye Tiance. You said I stole the invitation, do you have any evidence? Ji Budwan hesitated. Well, this. The candidate invitation letter did not have real name authentication, so of course he could not find any evidence. Ye Tiance struck while the iron was hot and continued to pace. In my opinion, in the eyes of the Ji family, just saying that someone is unhappy with his invitation is stolen. Isn't this too unfair and overbearing? Guests who didn't know the truth all echoed. It makes sense. If the Ji family says that my alternate invitation letter was stolen, I have no way of proving my innocence. I'm asking the Ji family to look down on us guests with waiting invitations. I'm so insincere. If you don't like it, why bother issuing alternate invitations? You must give us an explanation. Everyone was talking a lot, and Ji Bo was stunned, the corners of his eyes couldn't stop twitching. I wish I could give these brainless guests a few slaps. Of course, he couldn't provoke public anger on this day, he could only say reluctantly, haha, it's all a misunderstanding. No one stole the alternate invitation letter. All guests holding it can enter. Our Ji family will not stop anyone. The surrounding guests calmed down and stopped dwelling on the matter. Ji Budwan lowered his voice and threatened, young man named Ji, don't think you can win just by being clever. Today on my territory, I advise you to put your tail back, otherwise there will be many ways to deal with you. Ye Tiance smiled lukewarmly and said, then I'll really wait and see. After saying these words, he entered the banquet hall directly. Look at his back. Zhang Huilan's face turned livid with anger. Bah! This white-eyed wolf is so thick-skinned, he will do anything just to eat and drink. Xiao Nan said with some worry, this loser likes to eat soft food. Do you think he was kicked by Han Ruoyun? Then he heard that Miss Rong family was coming to the birthday banquet today, so he came here to try his luck and want to hug her thigh. Ji Budwan said disdainfully, what is Miss Rong's identity? If she can like the man named Ji, I can stand on my head and eat shit. As for Xiao Qingcheng, her face was full of disappointment. I couldn't help but sigh. Ye Tiance, when will you think about relying on yourself to grow, instead of always thinking about relying on the strength of others? Ji Budwan reminded softly, Qingcheng, the birthday banquet is about to begin. I will take you in right now. After saying that, he even took the initiative to grab Xiao Qingcheng's hand. Xiao Qingcheng subconsciously took a step back and said, sorry, I have to make a call in advance. You take my mother and the others in first, and I will go in by myself later. That's it. Ji Budwan took back his hand slightly disappointed, and said with a forced smile, okay, hurry up. After Ji Budwan brought Zhang Huilan and Xiao Nan into the banquet hall, Xiao Qingcheng dialed Wu Xingye's number, asked, Dean Wu, have you contacted the miracle doctor? Wu Xingye replied, I'm almost at my old friend's house. I'll tell you the news when I get his contact information. Xiao Qingcheng said, sorry to trouble you. As for Wu Xingye, after hanging up the phone, he had already arrived at Lin's house. On the one hand, he came here to check on his old friend Lin Yuanshuan. On the other hand, he wanted to contact Han Ruoyun through the Lin family and ask for Ye Tiance's contact information. When he approached the door of the living room, he found a bunch of servants looking flustered and busy. It seemed like something had happened. Then, he saw Lin Wanda walking out of the living room in a hurry. Wu Xingye hurriedly asked, what happened? Lin Wanda said hurriedly, Dean Lin, you came just in time. My father's condition suddenly worsened and he has been unconscious and vomiting blood intermittently. What? Wu Xingye's expression changed and he said, Mr. Lin was just cured yesterday and just needs to rest. How could it be like this? Lin Wanda shook his head and said, I don't know, even if he took the Chinese medicine prepared by Yishan's prescription 2 hours ago, he would be like this. that Wu Xingye frowned, "Take me over quickly and take a look," that the two of them quickly arrived at Lin Yuanshuan's bedroom. On the hospital bed, Lin Yuanshuan's face was purple and he was breathing hard. Wu Xingye gave Lin Yuanshuan some clues. With a solemn expression, he said, "Mr. Lin's pulse condition is disordered. And his 5 internal organs are rapidly failing. The situation is very pessimistic. I am helpless. I'm afraid I won't be able to survive today." Lin Wanda trembled and said in disbelief, "How could this happen?" That at this time, Lin Jiaoyang, who was beside the hospital bed, gritted her teeth and said, "There must be something wrong with the prescription left by the man surnamed Yi. I have long thought that something was wrong with him. Logically speaking, how could he not be paid for treating my grandfather? It can only be that he did this on purpose to dispel our wariness and tamper with the prescription." Hearing this, Lin Wanda's face darkened. Murderous aura surges. If Ye Tiance really did something deliberately, he would never let him go. Wu Xingye shook his head and said, "According to my observation, Dr. Yi shouldn't be that kind of person. Could it be?" Suddenly, his eyes fell on the medicine bowl on the table. He stepped forward and picked up the medicine bowl, put it in front of his nose and smelled the medicine residue inside. His face changed drastically and he said, "Why are the Chinese medicine ingredients in this bowl of medicine different from the prescription left by divine Dr. Yi?"